The belt is a tool, allows you to stay tighter. So when you take a deep breath in and you press your stomach out against the belt, it gives you more rigidity when you go down into the hole.
Okay.
So that way, when you begin to go down into the hole, you won't fold. You won't fold.
Okay.
You know, so you have more pressure. Everything is about creating pressure in your torso.
Yeah.
And then connecting all the pieces so that you don't lose spinal mechanics. Because once the spine starts to fold in half or break or move position, you're leaking power.
Right.
You know, so you're flexing, and you don't want any of that. When we do it without a belt, what we're actually doing is we're using more of our what we tell our clients, suck in your abdomen, draw in your abdomen. We're using sort of a different, similar mechanism, but not, because in powerlifting, with using a belt, you're actually holding your breath. You know, you're pushing out your belly. Like usually, and when you tell a client to tighten their stomach, you don't tell them to push their stomach out. I don't work with a lot of powerlifters, but powerlifting makes it so that I tell them push your stomach. Like if I need to teach someone to do a 1 rep max, like if we were using a belt, I would have you push your stomach out as hard as you can.
Got you.
But we're not doing that. You know,
not it.
What we're doing.
My belt, I'll come back.
No, what we're using is we're using our inner weight belt. So you know how we pull our rib cage down, we suck in our stomach, we have this pressure. You feel that, right?
Yeah.
Now put your fingers here. Now take a deep breath into it. You feel that pressure there? That's what you're trying to hold. And then for that brief moment before you go down into the hole, you know, you're going up and down.
Got it.
That's what you're doing. So you're basically creating your own weight belt, whereas in a regular belt or traditional powerlifting belt, style belt, you have the belt and you're holding it, but you're also pressing into it. I trained a while without a belt, and it's a different skill. So even though that I was training without a belt, it theoretically made me stronger. When I started wearing a belt again, I had to rebuild my skill. So basically lifting with a belt was harder than lifting without a belt, because you come out of practice.
Got it.
So that's very specific. That has to be specific for whatever you're training for. So with the more weight we have, it's going to force you to be a little bit more rigid.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So I want you to focus on finding your spinal mechanics. So when you go down into the hole, find where your limit is before you lose spinal mechanics.
Okay.
So this is the way I teach the squat to people that want to do well in a squat versus just trying to lift as much weight as possible.
Yeah.
We want to make sure we lift the most amount of weight as we can in the most safest, effective way.
Yes,
Right.
exactly.
So let's go ahead. So again, let's get 5. Let's try to create that brace position. Again, every time you do it, it's going to feel weird because you're not sure how you're doing it right, you know?
Yeah.
So let's just do 5. And then finding your spinal break point. Actually, just do 3. Do 3. All right, good. So put back. Another 3.
Okay.
But put the bar further down your back.
Oh, okay. Lower on
So move your hair for a second. Pull your shoulder blades back from me. So right now you're kind of holding it right here. Yeah. So maybe if you can just bring it down to right here. Just a little bit lower.
Okay.
So that way it might feel a little more uncomfortable on the shoulders or the wrist. Yeah, like there. Like right on your traps. That looks good. That means you need to be leaning forward from the start. Yeah, there you go. It should feel easier.
Yeah.
Good.
Awkward goes easy.
Okay, one more. Okay, good. Set it back. That's what you call a low bar squat.
Okay.
It's not wrong or right. It's just a style.
It's another way of doing it.
It's another skill or technique. Okay. Low bar squat, you'll be able to do more because you're getting more leverage.
Okay.
Now we're still having way too much spinal rounding. I mean, you're staying tight, right?
I'm trying to, but I can feel I'm losing it because it's not something that I'm used to.
Right.
So I'm trying to. I think the timing is a little bit off.
I want you to get under the bar. Set up.
Low bar positioning.
Still do low bar. It doesn't matter. Just set up for what feels appropriate for you. Okay. That way you can stay tight here in the back. Then what you're going to do is you're going to scoot your butt in, like you're doing posterior tilt.
Okay.
Tighten your stomach.
Okay.
Come up. Okay. Then from here, what I want you to do is I want you to turn your feet out just a little bit, about right here. Okay. And then what I want you to try to do also is squeeze your butt forward so your back stays flatter, or they're still arching it, but then you're not like this, right?
Yeah.
So I want you to be like right here. So push your tush in just a little bit.
Yeah.
Now take your breath in. Tighten up. And I want you to squat down slowly, okay?
Slowly, okay. And then you're only exhaling as you come up. So you're basically holding till you're about at the point.
Yes.
And then driving up and releasing.
It depends on how. If I'm doing slower, I would breathe.
Okay.
I'm shallow breathing.
Shallow breathing. Okay.
So the main thing I want you to do is just have your feet a little wider, and then when you start by just tilt your hip. Can you not posterior tilt, but squeeze your butt? So, so face this way. Turn your feet out like the squat there, right there. Okay, now squeeze your butt and push your hips forward. Now relax. Okay, so do that again. You see how you do a posterior tilt? Yeah. It's not quite a posterior tilt. I don't want you to posterior tilt. I just want you to activate your butt so your spine goes into neutral. Okay. Because a posterior tilt means you're doing this. Yeah, we don't want that. We want what you should feel if you put your hands on your thighs here. If you squeeze your butt and push your knees out, what do you? I mean, if you squeeze your butt, what do you feel?
It contracts.
It contracts, but where does your hands go?
Oh,
they go out. Yeah. So that's what we're trying to do. Okay. So let's try that.
So what you're going to notice with Sabrina is when she squats down into the hole at the bottom of the squat, or as she gets below parallel, she still has a little bit of posterior tilt or butt wink, but the difference is that she's butt winking a lot less. Now, there's a lot more to the whole butt wink thing and spinal rounding and posterior tilt. The thing to understand is that you want to eliminate as much of that as possible when you are squatting heavy. Now, if there's one thing to note when you watch this replay again of the 3 repetitions of squats that she does, is the squat looks better, it looks faster, it looks more powerful. And one of the main reasons why that is because her bar path has improved. It's going more vertical, whereas previously the bar was moving a little bit more forward than it is now. The major reason why the bar moved better and why the squat looked more powerful or looked more effective was because her spine was in a better position. It was neutral, which allowed for better muscle activation and better physics, a more vertical bar path.
But I did feel just by adjusting and making myself a little bit more in alignment and not slightly back, I felt like I had more power to lift up. Like usually I get stuck in the hole and it's hard for me to drive, but it felt a lot easier with having that tilt.
So to explain why you're having trouble out of the hole when you do it the normal way that you do it, is that you're going into the hole with excessive extension, you know? So what happens so when you are, so hands on your hips here, if you arch your back, what happens to your abs? They stretch. Now tighten your stomach. Okay, now put your hips forward now. Now tighten your abs. You see how you can contract your abs a little bit better?
Yeah.
Right.
That's probably what.
And so that way you're able to maintain that position. Because when you start to fail, okay, you're going to go into this position. You're going to do this, right? But once you're already here and you start to fail, there's nowhere to go.
Yeah.
You're going to have to really sit on your vertebrae. You know, but if you're tight, you won't do it. You know,
it's like the whole deadlifting approach that we did last
time.
I got that, so now I just have to apply it to this.
It's just a squat's just a little more complicated.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just so. This next time we'll do the same thing, but I want you to go down to where you feel like your butt is about to wink.
Okay.
All right, so let's do that. Okay, I want you to go down slowly, Tight stomach, tight stomach, tight stomach. Come back up. Now repeat. Back up. Okay, again down. Squeeze your glutes, come back up. Okay, now sit it back. So what did that feel like?
A little challenging.
Yeah, it's harder.
Yeah.
Because you're not giving up spinal mechanics. You know? So you're not having this.
Yeah, I was like collapsing before. It makes sense.
Right, so now we want to try to maintain it. There's controversial, people say butt wink is good, butt wink is bad. Generally, you want to eliminate as much of it as you can. It's really difficult to get rid of a lot of it, but you want to get rid of as much of it as you can.
Yeah, that makes sense.
As much as possible, okay? So we'll try to do the same exact thing, but this time, we're just going to go a little bit lower, okay?
Okay.
Okay, you just got to put as much air into your abdominals, tighten your abs as hard as you can. Very shallow breathing because you're so tight. Tight stomach. Good, back up. 2, 1. Now just go down slowly. Slow, tight stomach, keep going down. Down, right there, come back up. So I want you to see if you can squat to there from now on. Good. 2 more. Good. Tight. That was your best one. Sit down.
I felt that one was better. The other one, I felt like I rounded.
I noticed that when you get past parallel, you start to shake. What is working when that happens? Do you know?
So one of the things that's kind of interesting when Breena starts to set up for the squat and push her hips into neutral, I notice sort of this tremor where her abdominal shake or her body shakes. And kind of looking back and talking to her after this later on in the week, what I've come to the conclusion, or my hypothesis right now, is that because she has very tight spinal erectors, and for her pelvis to go forward or go into neutral position, her abs have to kick in, and it sort of puts her in an area where she's not used to being stable. Although there's more spinal integrity, it's much more effective to be there, she's not used to being in that position. So it's kind of like the muscles are learning how to coordinate and get into that position.
A moment where you're having a little bit of you've done back extensions before?
Yes.
So you're basically doing a back extension while the bar's on your back while you go into the hole. So you're going down and then you're coming out with a back extension. Yeah. And if you have 200 pounds on your back, it's not a good idea to back extension having a shearing. So that was a lot better. So now what I got to see this time, might be hard to see in the video, but I saw your pelvis turn in a little bit, which is the natural motion of the pelvis, but without your spine. Or I should say with less of your spine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So now your spine wasn't, so instead of your spine completely posterior tilting and rounding out, instead you kept your spinal position.
Yeah.
Okay?
And I think on that last one where it felt better, usually when I do squats, I feel a lot more of it in my quads and in my glutes.
Yes.
But this time, I actually felt it more in my glutes.
Yes.
Because of the, bringing my hips just slightly, or just bringing myself in alignment instead of slightly pushing
Right,
back.
yes. So let me just show you setup again, because a lot of people learn better when I show them.
Yeah.
So watch me. And maybe you could try to pay attention to my feet, knees, and hips, like just kind of